Hi everyone, this is Michael from Pop Spectrum, and I am beginning a new segment today. So essentially what these are going to be are reaction videos. Reactions to films that have either already been out for a while now, or films that have maybe just come out recently. And so the first one we're doing is for Sunshine, which came out in 2007, and so the reason why we're doing that is because neither me nor my friend had seen it, and we thought it'd be fun to sort of go and do sort of a direct reaction. So it's going to be unfiltered. There isn't going to be a whole lot of editing to it, maybe little things every once in a while, but mostly just direct unfiltered reactions that are going to have spoilers in them. So be warned that after the spoiler warning posted in the video, that it's essentially no holds barred for the rest of the video. And then for the newer films, we would go to the theater and then film our reactions after that as well. So we're going to sort of switch between the two. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoy this, and let me know what you think. Hi, this is Michael and Isabel, and I'm going to do that again.
Okay.
Hi, this is Michael from Pop Spectrum. And this is my friend Isabel, and we just watched Sunshine, which was odd and insane and not quite sure how I feel about it at the moment. Lots of strange camera angles and strange things happening throughout. What did you think of it?
Yeah, basically the same thing with the camera angles, the cuts, like the editing, especially towards the end. I don't want to give anything away, but like it got choppy and weird, and I wasn't sure like what was real, or what exactly was happening.
Well, I figure actually with these reviews that we're gonna kind of we can talk through the film. It's not really spoiler, like it's not spoiler free. We can talk about what happened. It's not
Cool.
it's not considered a spoiler free review.
Okay.
So yeah, spoilers. Everyone died, so there's that.
Yeah.
So essentially, the sun is getting close to burning out, and they have to take a bomb to the sun to blow it up to keep the sun burning, I guess, for whatever reason. And
Yeah.
they're like the second crew that's attempted to do this, and there's Cillian Murphy's character from Dark Knight and Inception, and then there's Rose Byrne's. I have a cast list here. I'm just gonna...
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, who I know from something.
Avengers.
There we go.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four.
Or Rose Byrne. Sorry, Rose Byrne is the one who's in Insidious. And then Hiroyuki Sanada, who I just know from something. I think he was in...
He looks familiar.
I think he was in Last Samurai, but I'm not going to look it up right now. And a couple other people. There was definitely obscure Asian woman, and
Yeah.
Harvey, who was definitely probably the most over-the-top character in the entire film.
Yeah. Mace, who was Chris Evans.
And you pretty much predicted that Harvey was going to be the worst character from the outset.
Yeah, he starts panicking like immediately as they set out. Like you can kind of pick who's going to be the dramatic one.
And so I had heard about this movie for a while, but the only reason I'd even heard about it was because of this song that's been used in many different things. It was recently used in the X-Men Days of Future Past trailer, and it was also used in Walking Dead and some other movies, but it's the main theme. It plays a couple times throughout, and the music is actually very good in this film, but mostly. There's some pieces that seemed a little strange, but it's very well done overall. And I don't know Danny Boyle, who directed this. I'm not familiar with him, but I know he's a pretty well-established director, and I'm not sure if it's just because this was a 2007 film or what, but some of the CGI seemed a little off throughout. There were those moments, some moments where it seemed really good, and then other moments where it was like, okay, yeah. So essentially, the whole movie is about them trying to get to the sun. So overall, it's strange because it starts out as this kind of adventure. We're gonna go blow up this bomb, and then about 3/4 or 2/3 of the way through, it turns into essentially like a monster movie or Alien, with this surviving crew member that shows up and just decides he's going to murder everyone because he's
crazy.
He's crazy, and like he thinks he's on a mission from God.
Yeah. But it's never explained how exactly he gets onto the ship, because it was such a big deal for the crew to get from Icarus 1 to Icarus 2. Like, how the flip did he get? I guess he came on and then they... I don't know. They never really explain it fully, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And, stop for just a second. We're back. So, beyond that, there was also, ever since they found the second ship, the ship that tried to do this mission before them, there were these strange images that kept popping up, and at first we weren't sure what they were. And then I guess they were the crew members that... Yeah,
they were the previous crew members. And at first it was okay. Like, the flash of the photos, you're like, okay, so it's kind of reminding you. And it's kind of like stressful situation.
But I'm not sure in the end why it kept happening throughout. Like, it seemed like it didn't seem to have any effect on the characters. It seemed like it was for the audience. And I'm not sure if that's because they were getting closer to the sun, so there was like they were hallucinating or something, or we were supposed to be hallucinating, or...
It would have made sense if they showed the crew members hallucinating as well. And
but,
I mean, they were in stressful situations, but it wasn't like they were seeing anything.
Yeah, and then it clearly was just for us whenever they found out that there was that other crew member on the ship, and it started showing us pictures of him. But and this guy was pretty burned up. Like, and he gets his arm cut off at the end of the film, and it kind of switched from being hard sci-fi to like gore monster flick out of nowhere. But and then it went back to hard sci-fi near the end, and then it came back to the gore monster for like when Cassie came back.
It wasn't too gory. It was just that one bit with the arm.
Yeah.
That was intense.
Overall, the characters were... It took me a while to even learn any of their names. I think about halfway through we started finally learning names.
I kind of got most of them, except for that one Asian woman. I still don't know
Obscure
what her name.
Asian woman. I have no clue who that was. And she actually did a lot more than most of the other characters. They just never said her name for whatever reason.
She was cool. She was not a bad character.
And then some of the acting was a little bit off. There were just these certain points where where like characters were getting really close to dying, or they were in really intense situations, and it seemed like it needed a couple more takes. They were just a little bit too over the top. And then beyond that,
it's basically, except Mace, Chris Evans' character, it wasn't bad, but there were sometimes like it was too anger management boy. Like sometimes I was like, okay, like you don't have to be this all the time, sort of thing.
Well, and there was also a few points in the film where characters were just deciding things that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. Like when they decided that they were going to kill the guy, and there was, I mean, it just seemed like so much of those decisions were made without any gravity, except when they did the vote, and then Cassie was the human side of that.
They did discuss it previously.
But so much of the other characters were just like, we have to do this, and and then you were talking about foreshadowing throughout.
There were like little bits and pieces. They did have the conversation about oxygen and how they weren't going to have enough oxygen for all the crew members. So you kind of thought, oh, they're going to start killing people maybe. And then
but there were other things you were pointing out, like the water and something
guy,
else.
Oh man, I forgot his name. Something. So
which one?
The guy, he gets burned. He dies by burning. But before he dies by burning, he gets burnt.
Oh yeah. The guy who sacrificed himself when they were on the ship.
And then Chris Evans' character, he gets burned with ice when he goes into the coolant, his hand. And then when they jump from Icarus 1 to Icarus 2, he also gets a lot of ice, frostbite. And then he finally dies in the coolant, freezing to death. So he gets froze, like, little free stuff throughout the film, and then they're like, oh, that's how he dies. We kind of told you, so little bits like that.
Yeah, so that I missed some of that, but she definitely caught on to it. One thing I did think that was a bit of foreshadowing was there was that same character. He was looking at the sun in the beginning of the film. Was that when he got burned? In the very, very beginning? Like when he did like the 3 second, or like the 3%?
I honestly didn't catch when he
Yeah,
got burned.
unless it was at that point.
I
There
think
really
it was
wasn't.
when Dre made that 1.1 degree mistake.
Okay.
He got burnt there. But before,
Yeah.
in the beginning, he was also in the observation deck staring.
Yeah.
Is what you're
That
saying.
Trey character was a bit over the top too, but
Dre.
like when he made the mistake, he
He sort of
he got that one
away.
scene where he went a
Yeah.
little psycho. But what I was talking about was like there's this scene in the very beginning with the not Trey, but the character who dies when he sacrifices himself, and it seems like there's a lot of scenes in this film where it's characters looking at the sun.
Yeah.
just the camera panning on characters looking at the sun. It's like, okay, this is what our film's about. So we gotta have some shots in here of this.
Yeah, of the sun.
I mean, overall, it was good. I wouldn't say it was like amazing or great, but it definitely left an impact. I think I will say.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would definitely say it's worth seeing. I wouldn't say it's like a must see necessarily, but I would say it's worth your time if you have some spare time and you want to see something interesting, something different. It definitely sticks out. It's like I said, its soundtrack is very well done. It's not some typical Hollywood action film. It's got some interesting things going on in it. Just don't expect. Seems like there's a few gears out of place in this machine, but yeah. So, anything else?
Not really. There is the. Well, can I say something else about the end?
Yes.
You know, they show.
Spoilers.
Oh yeah, in the end they show that man, Cillian's character,
Mhm.
Kappa, the physicist. They show his sister apparently, and I just thought it was strange that even though he is making a video for someone in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
they never show who he's making the video for. So it's like new characters suddenly at the end for 5 seconds.
Yeah, because we didn't see anything on Earth until the very end.
No backstory about any of the characters, and then suddenly he has a family.
Yeah,
And
like because we were never sure who it was for. I thought it was gonna be for like a girlfriend or a wife, and then it's suddenly a sister because
Yeah.
we weren't privy to the whole recording when he was making it.
But then also he says, I know you would be proud of your son in the recording when we see him making the recording. I'm pretty sure he says that.
So maybe
So,
his
I don't know
mom
if
was
it's
supposed to be
another
there as well,
recording.
or. And that whole last scene was a little bit strange. Those kids looked a little bit weird, and I'm not sure if that was supposed to be like some kind of degradation or
Yeah.
it was just strange-looking actors. But
I think it would have, I would think the ending would have resonated a little more if they had established that this family, like, meant something.
mhm.
Because maybe it means something to Kappa, but since we hadn't seen them,
Yeah.
it was like, yay, but it was also like, who are these people? So,
Yeah, and I also want to say I think it was pretty obvious from the beginning that both Kappa and Cassie were going to be the characters at the end, or at least some of the characters at the end, because they had this kind of obvious love interest scene
Yeah.
in the beginning where they're talking about the dreams they're having, and then they keep cutting to it throughout, and it's like it was a little bit of like a force, because they're never even like romantically involved. It's just like a
Yeah.
really, it almost seemed like it was a shoehorned in love interest just to have that relationship in there. But I don't know. I maybe it's intentional as a close friendship or something. But
Yeah.
I kind of predicted that back in the beginning. But
It wasn't bad, though.
yeah.
I mean, it added a layer of something, and it was okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, there's nothing particularly bad about this film. It's just it's also got a bunch of things throughout that aren't hitting the mark quite right. I don't think.
It's
but,
interesting, but it is sort of like some things are just.
But yeah, so I think that's it, and Again, this is Michael from Pop Spectrum and Isabel.
From nowhere. Because you said Foster and then you said Isabel. I have no idea.
Alright, that was Pop Spectrum's first reaction video from me, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and be sure to let me know what you guys thought of it down in the comments, and especially what you guys thought of the film itself. Now, beyond this, I also want to point out that we will be taking recommendations from you guys, so if there's anything that you want to see us react to from a screening in particular, just let us know, whether it's older or newer, and we will definitely get around to it at some point. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed it.